Hey guys, Yunayo here. Today I'm going to be doing something different with my content. I'm going to be doing sort of a commentary over a run in Decaying Winter. And I'm going to try to sort of explain the things that I did, why I did them, and hopefully my experience in this game pays off. This is the first game that I played after the new update, which didn't change much, mostly just bug fixes, which I very appreciated. So, think of this as sort of director's commentary? I don't know. Not sure what I'll call this. Maybe I'll think of a cheeky name or something. This is different from what I normally do, but I figure it would be a pretty relaxing experience for everybody. So, I hope you guys get a kick out of watching me play Decaying Winter and commentate over my past gameplay. You can see me peeking over the top of Outpost right here, just because you never want to get jump scared by like a scav who's sitting up on the rooftop. Always a concern. Always make sure you check for people on the roof of wherever you're looting, especially when you stand under the ledge, because they can and will detect you through walls. Just going the wide angle here just to make sure. I always scrap steel caltrops unless I'm in like a multiplayer game. Steel caltrops are useful for sure, but for me, I would much prefer to have the scrap potentially go towards an AKM or a KSG, because in the late game, really that's what it's going to be all about, is how many of those can you make. Don't forget to eat and drink water. Before the update, actually, the in-between phase after a wave ends and before a loading phase begins used to be quite long. So you could sort of drink your water in between rounds. But it looks like they fixed that now. And it's like really short now. So make sure to find time to do that. As you can see, Arbiter is a fairly effective class. Simply because having a 95 damage AoE attack is incredibly useful, considering most scavs have 85 HP, and it does in fact do true damage, meaning that it does ignore any modifiers like hunger and whatnot, so it will always do 95 damage. That being said, be aware that the long shot does have friendly fire. The shell shot doesn't, but the long shot does, so just don't hit too close to yourself. Don't hit an enemy if they're up in your face with the long shot. Do the shell shot if they're up in your face. For this solo run, I did decide to run Arbiter. You can see there I was trying to scrap my melee weapon, but I ended up getting attacked in between, so I just dropped in and picked up the tier 2 again. But as I was saying, I did decide to do the solo run attempt with Arbiter, because it is just a very flexible perk. There's a lot that you can do with Arbiter. Generally, I think it's a better idea to avoid gun scavs, of course, unless you have to engage with them for some reason, which is also why I think the throwing daggers are the best auxiliary equipment in the game, though I'm not particularly revolutionary by saying that. During the wave itself, I make sure to try to target gun scavs first. As you can see, I gotta say, a very impressive axe throw on the gun scav that was behind a group of 3 other scavs. I'm impressed with myself. So I just thought I'd, point that out. Otherwise, soloing a group of melee scavs can be kind of tough. It's a little easier with Arbiter. But just group them all up. Try to parry them all at once. If you get lucky, you'll parry them all. If not, just parry again to cover any delayed parries. It's a slow process to solo waves with melee only, but totally doable.
Warning. You are now leaving the safe area.
Here, I thought that the cleaver scav would parry first, so I wasn't expecting to actually get the parry off, like with this scav who parries first. Cleaver scavs are one of the few in the game that can parry you, so do be careful when engaging with them. Do not go straight for the attack against those. That and, I believe, baseball bat scavs can parry you. I didn't need to take the pills there, but in a solo run, when there will be times when pills are in abundance, it's not a problem to take them a little early just so you're covered. I'm getting quite lucky with gun drops on this run. That's an Egram Mac 10, and then also, I believe that was an MP5 that we got earlier.
Safe area.
During waves, be sure to always target gun scavs first. Everything else comes second. You can see there's one in the back that is really messing up my rhythm. Tried to long shot him, messed up the timing. I did get the axe throw though, so now I can clean up the remaining scavs. Unfortunately, there was another gun scav further back that I did not manage to get, so I do have to sort of kite around and get a good angle on him. That being said, I do completely miss the axe throw, and he is now too close to long shot. So this really messes up my rhythm, as you can see here. This is where things start to go wrong. Luckily, I just barely survived with 30 HP, and I am bleeding with no bandage. Thank God, the IFAK cures bleeding.
Warning. You are now leaving the safe area.
And I found a bandage. It is here that I will iterate for the first and probably not last time that you should get good at melee combat. If you see a singular melee scav just kind of sitting out in the field somewhere, you should try to fight him, ideally without taking damage. At some point, with enough practice, you can get good enough at it to consistently take no damage from scavs. Melee scavs. You cannot parry bullets. Back there, I dropped my javelin because I knew that there was a tier 1 melee, which was good scrap. There's also a tier 2, which unfortunately, if I remember correctly, I do actually scrap it, but I couldn't scrap everything in my inventory by the end of this. Especially when solo, the hardest thing to do is to scrap optimally so that you can get rid of all of the items that you don't need. Because very often, you'll find that there's far too many items to actually scrap in time, and you end up sort of having to leave a lot of items to next time, which uses up more time. For that reason, I almost always go with the trait that increases your speed. I forget what it is. I will put it up on the screen now, though.